Welcome back to Let's Play Darkness over Daggerford Enhanced Edition. We got some snazzy upgrades last time. We got Soliana's necklace for some charisma, which I don't think actually gets me another modifier, but shh. It also comes with Eagle Splendor, though, which is nice. We got ourselves a belt for Reagan and a cool new weapon that does 1d4 cold, +4 versus outsiders. It's a +2 weapon, has an on-hit effect, and a Endure Elements effect. Was cast, which is super cool for a tank. Which at this point makes me feel like I should have just also sold the Sword of Paradis, because... Okay. More RPGs need to have, like, somewhere you can put up named artifacts. Because otherwise you just wind up selling them. But we also got ourselves some Cloaks of Protection +4. I got the Faker's Crown, which bumps up my listen and lets me use Amplify and stuff. I have some Gloves with a Rogue. Let's see, what else was there? Upgraded Perfbin a bit with an Adamantine Helm and Boots of Hardiness and the +2 Amulet of Natural Armor. And now we're broke. So let's go to the Sorcerer's Encapsulate. This is somewhere I never went to when we were, like, even when we were exploring Daggerford. And I am a caster, so I don't have to do anything weird to get in or anything. Hey, Rylet.
Well met.
Yes, I would. Then please take this key with my blessings to allow you to pass through the door and into the heart of the tower. You're too kind, sir. Is this portal the door? No, it's this door. There's also this basement door I never went into. Oh, it's the library. A scribe and some commoners.
Is it dusty in here, or is it just me?
Greetings and well met.
Welcome to the Sorcerer's Library. Here you will find a wealth of knowledge on all manner of worthwhile topics. Please feel free to browse any of the books we have here. What sort of books do you carry here? Our collection is extensive, so much so that I cannot recount you all of our library's contents. However, I can recommend a few of my own personal favorites. For example, it would be wise to start with the history of Daggerford, which describes how our town got its name. Also, if you're new to this part of Faerun, I recommend Tradeway Travel Stops, which highlights sites along this stretch of the Tradeway. And last but by no means least, I urge you to read the story of Daggerford's archenemy, the dread evil Gorgamors. It serves as our library's centerpiece and is contained within its original binding. Oh, a fine collection, librarian. Thank you for your assistance. Also need that, like, the commoners here or have access to the library. Gorgamors, Daggerford's devil. I lay down these words, pen to paper, so it shall be remembered how these events have come to pass. The devil defeated almost all who stood against him, as they fled from his fearful presence before they could even draw steel. Only the Duke resisted and bested the infernal creature. Even now, the mourners robed in white fill the streets of Daggerford. Edwin Daggerford is dead, his wounds too grave and vile, but by his sacrifice we have all survived. Could these past winter nights have been chilling us in the days preceding the beast? Or coldies? The moon hung red, reflecting off the snow, portending the evil to come, as if blood had covered the land. The Duke of Daggerford brooded heavily in those days. He sat in council by day, distracted, and troubled by night, his sleep interrupted by dark dreams of fear for the life of his new son and young wife. The beast came upon us as a breaking storm surrounded by a host of the damned, its malicious purpose unknown. The farms bordering Daggerford fell in a swath of blood. No living creature was spared the wrath of the flaming sword or beast carried. The screams of the dying came as a clarion call to arms. Brave guards at the town gate stood fast against the beast, but all were felled. The great wall around Daggerford was breached. The beast had come. The Duke stood brave at the head of his valorous knights within the gates to the keep, as the devil declared himself. I am Gorgamors, eater of hearts and defiler of nations. I am here to kill you, young Duke, you and yours. And with those foul words, the devil sprung forth through the open gate to the keep to slay the Duke and his honor guard, but the Duke's trap had been sprung. By the cutting of a rope, the wading portcullis crashed down upon the beast, trapping it beneath. The Duke and his soldiers then rushed to defeat the creature as it thrashed to release itself, with the Duke himself leading the charge, plunging his sword deep into the devil's heart amidst scorching breaths of fire. Daggerford's defenders were the quicker, and Gorgamor's was ultimately vanquished, swearing with his dying breath his revenge on the Duke and his line. Woeful is the victory that comes at a price so dear. The Duke, mortally wounded in the battle, was carried forth victoriously through the city streets of Daggerford. Let it be known that Duke Edwin Daggerford has banished the devil Gorgamors to whence it came. Long live the Duke. Hilgrath the Scribe. I wonder who the final boss of this is going to be. Oh, I thought that a commander was in here. Like, dang. We got some learned soldiers here. Oh, so the others can come with me at least. I best watch for that ceiling. You'll have to excuse me. I'm experimenting with my polymorph device at the moment. So, have a look through the store and see if there's anything that catches your eye. Look, Gordon. Ropes. Wondrous gloves. -1 wisdom, but an extra of each spell slot up to 3 for bards. That's actually kind of neat. Gloves of spellcraft. Belts of guiding light. Not bad. Let's see the next form. Ropes of resistance. I'm tall at last. Gordon. Ooh, scary undead. So this is actually just a shop. Okay. Bag of holding. Oh, unlimited bags of holding. Dang. Alright, I think 4 is plenty. But yeah, that's it for the encapsulate. I figured it was going to be like a whole like school. Alright. So let's take a look at our journal then. We should go talk to Yanni. We still need that burial totem somewhere. There's a vampire bat. I need to tell someone that I killed the Gillian's Hill gang. I still need to find that all, but that's gonna have to wait until I'm, like, prepared to kill a dragon. Like, a real dragon, not a young one. Not to be confused with the young ones. I have not watched that show. Right, so Yanni is at Liam's hold.
Hello.
Have you found that special item yet? No. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and rest again in here because that's how I got the siege quest. Okay, nothing new with Astriel. And no one approaching. Okay. So next... I do want to go back to Gillian Hill. Because I feel like someone there should specifically be like, oh, yo, you killed them. Here's like 1,000 gold. Or something. Or more likely, here's 200 gold. It's all that we can spare. Joka. I'll return when I do. Generic farmers. Callaway. Hey. Maybe you.
What do you want?
Told you she was a loon. You take care in that cemetery. Let's see. Torleth doesn't care. Maybe Yentai will care?
I greet you.
Let me know if Gillian's Hill. Precious little, I'm afraid. Please look at my wares. I'm sure I'll find something to take your fancy. It's the bird person's house. Just double check here. Straight up lock, but I'm pretty sure it's a block that I can't deal with. Alright. You know what? We are almost certainly over-prepared for that vampire bat. And its thralls. Oh, there's a path east from here. There might be like something on this side of the cemetery, although I kind of doubt that. Yeah. Let's check the path east. Like, I'm level 11. It would take a very powerful vampire to actually be an issue for me at this point. Okay. Pried from his cold dead hand. No solicitors. Eldid killed by Martel. Martel killed by Eldid. Mr. Living Proof. The lizard folk cannot be reasoned with. So there's a severed arm there. We're night in the woods now. Skeleton knuckle. Torso. Vagabond rags. Prototype 215D 192R 210Z.
For glory!
This is interesting. Prototypes. Oh no, these prototypes are like trying to cast things, it sounds like. That could just be what their attack sounds like, though. More prototypes, I mean.
You'd better have some coin on you after all this trouble.
Harpin, why do you keep running in like that? They are tanky, like, HP-wise, but they're undead, so of course they are. That's just a thing with undead in D&D. They're easy to hit, but they are... No, squishy is the wrong word. They can take many hits. Chunky, that's the word. There's a regular skeleton warrior there, though, just to mix things up, I guess.
You'd better have some coin on you after all this trouble.
Yeah, normal arrow isn't gonna, well, even a +2 arrow isn't going to do much against a skeleton warrior. Oh no, we're 1,000 away from leveling up. I miscalculated that. So there's a big room over there near the entrance that I never tried. That probably contains the key or means to open that. Well, I've cleared a path at least. Yeah, there are some bats in here. A bunch of treasure. Can I talk to the bats?
It appears that someone has a large obsession with bats. Just rats with wings, if you ask me.
A giant bat statue. Let me guess. They go aggro if I take anything, right? No. That's actually even more interesting. Farrell's gold. Slow acid bullets. Oh, the floor lever over there. Got it. Bolts of lightning. I'll sell those since Perpin has unlimited. From far away, you hear the sound of a door opening. Can I take the bat idol and then have a bunch of giant bats attack me? Did the frog idol turn out to have any use in Pathfinder, or was it just a joke item? I say Pathfinder, but I mean Kingmaker. Bunch more body parts. Dajong. Dagio? Dazio?
I've been waiting for you.
You've arrived just in time to witness one of my latest experiments.
Who are you to be holed up in the bowels of the cemetery?
I am Daziong, the necromancer. I come from the Dalelands, which lie far to the east of here.
So you're the one responsible for bringing these cadavers back to life?
Think of them as test subjects. Well, failed test subjects, really. I can't quite get the enchantment right that holds their limbs in place. After a while, things just tend to start falling off, but my improvements in altering the response mechanism are leagues beyond my necromantic predecessors.
You mentioned altering their response mechanism. What do you mean?
By design, all zombies follow the orders of their creator. In the past, such orders were limited to common commands like stand here and attack my enemies. My zombies respond to far more specific commands.
Such as?
You desire a demonstration of their abilities? Very well. Zombie prototype 234A. Wave at the nice adventurer.
This should be interesting. Not bad.
I'm just getting started, friend. Zombie prototype 234A. Bow to your master.
They bow as well? All in all, these commands are still rather simple, don't you think?
Which is where prototype 234B comes into play. Zombie prototype 234B.
From Zaz Tam's famed Aesthetics of Human Anatomy.
Explain the basic construction of the zombie neck.
You're creating zombies with the intelligence to create more zombies. I don't like where this is going.
All those with ears to hear.
The human neck is a complex array of vertebrae, discs, muscles, and ligaments. The uppermost disc connects the spine to the skull. Nerves spread down from the neck and into the arms, creating a sensory pathway in which... That's enough, I get the picture. My latest prototype, 234F, is nearing completion and might be rolled out for full-scale production within a few short months. Isn't it exciting?
So what happens once you've discovered the right set of enchantments?
My new breed of zombies, capable of obeying complex commands, will completely alter Farunian culture. Imagine a legion of such workers toiling away in our dangerous mines, or guarding our town's borders from bandits and brigands. My experiments will save thousands of lives.
So this is really funny. I've actually had like a NPC concept in my head for a while now of like a necromancer who's like really well-to-do, ex-adventurer, and he actually pays people who are alive for the rights to use their bodies when they die for, like, you know, labor. Like, paying a really good amount. This is actually not too far from that. That the idea you put forth is noble, your mode for achieving these goals is horrific.
Horrific? Why, my friend, these people are dead, mere food for worms and rock grubs.
What of the families? What happens when they wish to to visit their loved one's hallowed gravesite. I promise once my experiments have ended, I shall re-enter all cadavers in their proper place, adhering to whatever local customs are used to honor the dead. Also, this plague appears to be moving through the local populace rather quickly, so I shan't remain in Gillian's Hill much longer anyway. What's better, bluff or intimidate? Bluff is 15, intimidate is 4. You know, I've heard of a large outbreak of black rot in the farms to the south. Might be worth looking into. Black rot, you say? Attacks the brain, but leaves the body completely intact. It's perfect. Thank you, friend. I shall travel there immediately. Glad to help out. That is a really interesting one. But that doesn't explain the plague. It appears that this Gothma has little to do with the farmer's plight. A necromancer from the Dale Lands, who is in search of more test subjects, apparently followed rumors of a plague outbreak to the small hamlet of Gillian's Hill. Once there, he set up shop in the local cemetery and began exhuming the graves of plague victims. With the help of a bat-winged disguise, he was able to use the Gothma legend to his advantage. Since he didn't actually kill anyone, I felt it best to just convince this Dajiang to leave the place, leave the area and never return. I should return to Liam Sunmist at the Temple of Lathander in Daggerford to relate the news of my discovery. Oh, I forgot I was doing it for him. He's not going to be happy. Because Lathander kind of hates undead. Alright, let's turn it in. Hey, Liam. I dealt with sort of the situation. Wasn't really a vampire.
Hello.
You returned, my friend. What news have you of the malady affecting the farmers in the south? Strange happenings in the south, Liam. It seems a necromancer has assumed the mantle of a local creature of myth and legend, a huge vampire bat called Gothma. I'm familiar with the myth of Gothma the Great. It's a favorite told by farmers gathered around the campfires at night. So why did the necromancer assume the mantle of a vampiric bat? He required more test subjects for his experiments in zombification, and thus allowed the farmers to think the graves were exhumed due to a local infestation of vampires, I see. So, what became of this foul necromancer? He's gone. I thank you for all you've done, traveler, and gift you with this medallion that hereafter names you as a favorite of Lathander. Thank you, Liam. I'm glad to help out. No need it for services. That's enough to level me up, though. Let's take another Arcane Archer. So that's going to be my 4th, so... yeah, that gets me a Secret Arrow. Oh, and if I bump up my Charisma 1... Alright, cool. I have no idea what to actually put points into. I guess into hide, since I am sneaking around when I'm invisible. I can take a feat. So alertness is +2 listen and spot. So I already have that automatically. I get the Secret Arrow 1. Oh, I could probably combine that with the Called Shot. Overcome the target's discipline check. Target's arms applies a cumulative -2 penalty to creature's attack rolls. So unless anything else is super interesting on that front. Yeah, let's take Called Shot. It's going to be very situational, but it's cool to combine that stuff. And let's talk to the party.
Yes. Is there something you need?
Might we stop and talk a moment, Perfbin?
Talk? But we seek the great prize, and talk will only slow us down. Very well. What do you wish to talk about?
How did you acquire those colorful clothes? Gnomes are seldom known for their taste in fashion, but these sure have helped me out of a few tough spots. Perfin laughs merrily while patting a few of his many bulging pockets that line his garish jacket. For an adventurous gnome like myself, large pockets are essential. One needs room to carry around all manner of gadgets, gizmos, and cogs. Perfin reaches deep into a gaping hole in his coat and produces what appears to be a handful of junk. You see a few loose wires, a broken mirror, a twisted wad of black twine, and some dead bugs. You fill your pockets with garbage? Garbage? Certainly not. Allow me to relate to you the importance of these items before you pass judgment. Picture this, my friend. I was trapped in Lady Spittlesmore's dark basement with no hope of escape. Well, I wasn't trapped so much as barred from leaving, for the lady had come home from her daily walk a bit earlier than expected. Through the basement door, I could hear her setting up a table for afternoon tea. My empty stomach began a fierce rumbling as mealtime approached, but since I had entered her home uninvited, I couldn't make my presence known, for she would certainly summon the guards. Trapped and famished, what a horrible state. Aye, we gnomes will go to great lengths to satisfy an empty stomach. Why, during the Great War of the Burrow, Fizbane Bloodknocker himself. Oh, but that's a different story entirely. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Lady Spittlesmore's miserable basement, starving to death. You're probably wondering how I escaped. I used the items I showed you, of course. First, I slipped the mirror under the doorway to survey my surroundings. I could see Lady Spittlesmore slurping down her noon tea at the kitchen table right next to the basement door. Then I used these bits of wire to construct an intricate trap. A trap to catch something for dinner? No, silly, a trap for lizards. Did you say lizards? Yes, and to catch a lizard you need bait. That's where these Modovian dung beetles come in. Quiet, Liam. Perfin holds the dead beetles up to your face for observation. The aroma reminds you of stale cow chips. And how did the twine factor into your escape plan? I tied the twine around the captured lizard's tail and slid it beneath the basement door. While the old lady ran out of the house screaming, I just crept out of the basement, grabbed a few snacks from the kitchen table, and left for home. What did you do with the lizard on a string? That, my friend, is a tale for another day. Perfin grins and pats one of his other pockets knowingly. Oh, no.
Yes, what do
And
you
Reagan,
want? We would do
stop and
better
talk.
to save our energy for battle, not waste it on needless conversation.
You said before that you once held a prestigious post within the Kexula Gem Guard. What happened? So, you would have me unsheath the words that might lead to my own destruction. Very well, Thradra, I tire of keeping secrets, and you proved yourself to be a forthright companion. I did not leave the Gem Guard willingly. I was forced out. My superior officer, the Gem Guard dispatcher, disagreed with my approach for governing the mines. He believed the loyalty to the Gem Guard superseded one's sense of duty, or justice. One should never be forced to choose loyalty over justice. Yeah, such as a decision all guards must be prepared to make. He asked you to break the law? No, he asked that I ignore the law-breaking of others. What kind of law-breaking are we talking about here? The guards were in collusion with a powerful thieves guild who had all but taken complete control of the mines and their output. I uncovered that plot and revealed it to my superior officer. Little did I know that not only was the dispatcher involved in the plot, but he was its ringleader. This I found out later in prison. At the time, I simply suspected he was trying to protect our fellow guards from punishment for their crimes. I must admit to feeling conflicted by the terrible choice set before me. I felt loyalty to the Gem Guard, but I felt a greater devotion to my deity. Timora? Helm. I was a devoted Helmite at the time, but I've since fallen out of favor with the Vigilant One. I failed him. I can say no more on the subject, as the pain lies too near the surface. How are you feeling? I feel just fine, ready for whatever comes to pass. Oh, when we spoke before, he mentioned a falling out with Helm. Is he no longer your deity? I am no longer worthy of his attention. The Watcher demands justice, bravery, supplication of self and deference to a greater cause. We've known each other for some time now, Thradra. You've earned my trust and the right to hear my tale in its entirety. When I uncovered corruption within the Gem Guard, I was deeply disturbed and searched my feelings, awaiting Helm's guidance. After a few agonizing days, I realized that justice trumps all loyalties, so I sought to make the culprits known and cleanse the Guard of its evil taint. You made the correct decision, Reagan. If allowed to spread, corruption has no bounds. Yes, I sensed Helm's approval when I finally committed myself to the path of justice. However, as is often the case, it was a path rife with perils, of which I would soon discover. The dispatcher, a preening peacock named Cantos Riverhorn, was new to the position. Though a capable administrator, he seemed less concerned with rules than actions, causing the day-to-day activities within the Guard to suffer. Some guards became more lax in their duties, arriving late at their posts, if at all. Others began partaking in activities unsuitable for trained professionals. Sounds like he wasn't doing a particularly good job and should have been replaced. I felt that Cantos deserved the benefit of the doubt, and that it wasn't my place to judge his handling of the guards, so I simply adjusted my own expectations and continued to do my job. But then I received a letter. It was an anonymous note slipped under my bedroom door that detailed infiltration of the Gem Guard by a local thieves guild called the King's Tears. It was then that I felt the need to approach the dispatcher. I read him the note and provided details on my initial interrogations. He listened intently before producing his own document. It was a signed affidavit from a large sampling of guards that accused me of stealing gems from the mines. I was placed under arrest and sent down into the mines to work alongside the orc slaves and prison convicts who comprised the bulk of the mine's workforce. Work was hard, unbearable, but the most difficult thing of all was the treatment I received at the hands of the guards. They saw me as a traitor, and deserving of the harshest treatment possible. I would have died in those mines if I hadn't found a means to escape, but that's a story for another day. Last conversations left me uneasy. You're concerned about my admission to being an escaped convict? Well, prison's for those who lack the spine to escape. I commend your initiative. I don't know. Once again, I feel lost in a quandary of religious dogma that keeps circling back upon itself like a snake feasting on its own tail. I grow weary from too much soul-searching. Let us continue on. Let's see if you have other questions. Okay.
Yes.
But
we seek the great prize.
I'm not going to read the
and
rest of this
Clark
because
will
my throat is
slow us
starting to hurt a
down.
little from the voices.
Very
Speak of-
well. What do you wish to
I'll just read it. You speak of the great prize. If you could have anything, Perfin, what would it be? Perfin answers without hesitation. That's simple, friend. The answer is wealth. Gold, silver, gems. Yes, gems are especially nice. Perfin rubs his hands together greedily. Once I have enough coin and gems in my pockets, all my heart's desires can be realized at last. Your heart's desire is wealth. What of love or family? What of them? Love, family, these things only lead to unhappiness in the end. Wealth, on the other hand, has no strings attached. Its bounty is pure pleasure, purchased at a whim and kept for as long as necessary. Money does have its uses. Perfin nods and his head in approval. I'm glad that we see eye to eye on such an important matter. Have you always been a thief? When I was young, I tried to become a great inventor like my granddad, Restit Nort Dugrick. She taught me the... Oh, grandma, not granddad. She taught me the two fundamental truths of gnomish inventions. First, for every trivial problem, there exists a complex invention to solve it. Second, every invention can be improved with a liberal addition of cogs. As with most young lads of the Dugrick clan, I was often tasked with peeling potatoes for harvest stew. It was there, deep within the bowels of the underground kitchens, where I conceived my first great invention, the Shred-O-Matic 1000. Sounds dangerous. It's an invention that would be desired by every gnomish housewife, and one destined for a place of honor in Gon's High House of Wonders in Baldur's Gate. There it would be displayed alongside Gurn's great gnome flinger and Baldrick's brilliant blam blower. Fueled by a burning desire, I feverishly set to building my first prototype. When it was finished, I persuaded the chief cook, Biddy Bitterbreath, to test my invention. She chose the New Harvest Festival as the day to try out my device, as it involved peeling a veritable mountain of potatoes. To grant my device maximum exposure, she began to peel the potatoes within full view of the banquet's most prominent guests. This proved to be my undoing. Shredded more than just potatoes. Something jammed its navigation system, for it veered away from the mound of potatoes and headed straight for the guest table. Mayor Wimplesnort's new silk hat was the first victim, followed by Dame Edsa's prize wigs, flinging strands of gray hair into Bitterbreath's famous harvest soup. The guests' screams could be heard for miles as they desperately sought refuge from the Shred-O-Matic's whirling fury. Dame Edgar, now completely bald without her wig, turned red as a beet and dived headlong into a bowl of the New Harvest punch. The New Harvest Festival was a complete disaster, but fortunately my pride was spared any serious injury, as all in attendance said the device showed promise with a bit of further testing. Of course, I spent the rest of the week peeling potatoes in Bitterbreath's dark kitchen. You're lucky no one was killed. Yes, I suppose that was lucky, on that occasion at least. Perfin sighs unhappily and glibly palms a coin from one hand to another. Besides, there are easier ways to earn a few coins now. Oh, what other questions do you have for me?
Yes. Talk. But we seek.
Do you have any brothers or sisters, Perfin? Well, Thradra, all gnomes come from very large families. Granddad Restit Nort always used to say there's no such thing as an empty burrow. What was life in your burrow like? It was joyous, wondrous. Each day was a new adventure. While we gnome children played together in close quarters, the earth above our heads trembled with the sounds of our laughter. Tell me about your brothers and sisters. I would rather not discuss that with you, Thradra. Not now. Not yet. Perfpin's head drops, shielding his eyes from you. Instead, let me relate to you a story of my visit to Gon's High House of Wonders in Baldur's Gate. We were talking about your family. No, I don't want to talk about my family, Thradra. Would you like to hear my story about Baldur's Gate? Sure. Located in the heart of the great city, Gon's High House of Wonders is a grand museum which displays all of the great gnomish inventions, such as Gurn's great gnome flinger and Baldric's brilliant blam blower. What's a gnome flinger? Gnome flingers are truly amazing inventions. Gurn, an old, wizened gnome with unusually weak knees, invented the gnome flinger to help him ascend to the great central staircase of Candlekeep. The gnome flinger employs a complex array of springs, gears, and cogs to rapidly catapult its wearer upwards at a great velocity. Why not just use a fly spell? Magic! My dear friend, inventions are so much more interesting than magic. When you have more time, allow me to relate to you my full impressions of Gon's High House of Wonders. But first I must tell you about the Duke. It was a sunny day in Baldur's Gate around noon, and I was taking my leave of Duke Entar Silvershield's estate. I was crawling under the fence when one of his unpleasant-looking guards spotted me. What were you doing at Duke Silvershield's estate? While enjoying a meal at the Prancing Pony, I overheard a story about a certain rare and valuable gem which old Silvershield kept in his study. My purse was depressingly light that day, so I had sufficient motivation to investigate. After absconding with the gem, I left Silvershield's estate with his loyal guards and hot on my heels. I sought refuge in Gon's High House of Wonder, but was quickly spotted by the Duke's guards who surrounded the museum. I was trapped. The Duke's dour-faced guards had sealed off the exits and were waving those sharp, pointy sticks while advancing towards my location. You mean they carried pikes? It was those large, unwieldy things that human guards are so fond of carrying around. Perfpin looks confused and shrugs. As the guards closed in on my location in the Grand Gallery, I beheld a large glass skylight. Sunlight spilled down from the heavens like blessing from the gods. Sweet freedom, but so far out of reach. The gallery's whitewashed walls were too smooth to climb. Smiling, Perfpin taps his bulging paunch. I'm not the most athletic gnomes, I'm afraid. How did you escape? Close to my hiding spot, I spied Gurn's great gnome flinger on display. I quickly strapped myself in and then cranked the candle. As gnome flinger's gears are ground, I heard the Duke's guards crash through the front doors. Just before their hands were on me, I pushed the eject button and shot up toward the heavens, crashing through the skylight. I landed with a heavy thud up on the hard slate roof. Perfpin sheepishly points a finger at his waistline. It seems my bones had more than enough padding to ensure a safe landing. My heart pounded with exhilaration as glass from the broken skylight rained down on the stunned guards below me, providing just enough time to slide down a nearby drain pipe. Soon after, I celebrated my escape in the local pub. It's quite a story, Perfpin. Well, I can assure you that every word is true. If you're ever in Baldur's Gate, just mention the name Perfpin, and you're sure to get a chuckle or two. How is everything? Okay. Let's see. 516. 557. Yeah. So next time on Let's Play Darkness over Daggerford, the only place on the world map that we haven't been that's been uncovered is Crabclaw Coast, or whatever it's called. Let me double check that. Otherwise, the burial totem might just be in a place that I didn't think to check or something. So I'll probably check a guide to see how that works. But next time we're going to explore Crab's Claw Coast. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys then.